What did that kid in your school get expelled for? High school. He had just come back from suspension. He had brought in a dummy grenade he picked up somewhere. He stands up in the middle of class and yells he going to kill everyone. Then pulls the pin and rolls it down the aisle. Teacher jumps up and dives on the ducking grenade without pause. Expelled. Teacher later became the vice principal. He drew over 1,000 pictures of big digs each on a separate sheet of paper and then proceeded to skip down the hallway during class and toss them all over the school. When he was brought into the office, they showed him a picture of him doing it. He asked the principal if he could keep the picture as a memory. Went to kindergarten with a kid named Marshall who was always getting in trouble until one day they finally just kicked him out of school for spraying a fire extinguisher all over the room and somehow getting his own human sheet in no fewer than 9 cubby holes where we kept our lunches. You have to be a goddamn rockstar to get kicked out of kindergarten. He pulled his big dig out and rubbed it on this girl's back and he just wouldn't stop. This is one of those third-hand hysterical stories. If you were anyone involved, I'm sure this is horrific. But I couldn't help but laugh. I think what makes it is the he just wouldn't stop part. Like, it was funny enough. But that last bit just sends it home. Like, was no one doing anything to help the girl? Other than just telling him to stop. When I was a junior in high school, the senior prank that year was to steal all the science videos from the office. All VHS. And record porn onto them at various parts. Then return the tapes. For years. Teachers would be putting on tapes about fossil fuels or mitochondria or crepuscular carnivores and 20 minutes and boom, big dig in us at full volume. Science department finally gave up trying to find them all and just threw them all away. The year of the prank, the student who organized it was expelled because someone spilled the beans. She pinned a girl against a wall and stared at her crotch saying dinner time or I'm hungry, something along those lines. She was just really weird and I do legitimately think she was mentally ill. There was a kid in the school who was notorious for not showering. It was absolutely disgusting, but he didn't exactly have the best home life, so no one was really gonna say anything. One day, the kid sitting behind him decided to light the no-shower's greasy hair on fire. It went up like a fireball and the smell that ensued would make an onion cry. Needless to say, the kid with the lighter didn't make it through the rest of the day. Went to an all-guys Catholic high school. One of the teachers was trying to become a deacon or something and had to videotape himself hosting a service. He taught religion, so he used a class period to take his students to the chapel and record his service. He had to go back to the classroom for something and one of the kids got up and began desecrating everything. Muck BJS of the candles. Humping the crucifix. Fake sermons. The whole 9 yards. The kid returns to his seat before the teacher ever gets back and all the students don't say anything. The camera was rolling the whole time. We had one kid get expelled for punching the vice principal in the face. The vice principal later got fired for sexually harassing the female students. Face puncher was and still remains a hero. Before I started high school, a black student punched our white principal. Principal definitely deserved it as he was a racist prick and a complete asshole. I'm not even joking. Stealing water. My sister's child was close to death. We were thirsty. You'll thirst again. Until you learn the meaning of the law. He threw a hammer at a student, narrowly missing another student and lodging it in the wall. They'd been tossing plastic cutlery at him. And he'd had enough. Honestly. They were poking a sleeping bear because he'd made it clear from the day he arrived that he had some sort of mental condition that made him a compulsive liar. But in the terrifying way. Like he told me directly about how he murdered his own mother, a lady who regularly dropped him off at school, so dull a lie, with a screwdriver. People at my school were very dumb. But he got expelled immediately. Where did he get the hammer? Did he just have it with him? It was during theater class and they were all building the set for some play they were putting on. I can't remember which one, but it had to do with someone getting divorced. This is a weird one. Preface this by saying this kid was on borrowed time. He had a history of being a jackass but was a really funny kid. So it's early junior year and it's lunchtime. Two people jokingly said to Kevin that they would pay him $60 to piss his pants. Money talks and he stood up from his seat. And within moments pissed his pants. They recorded the event and the video was passed around the school. Maybe a day or two later he was called down to the office and was promptly expelled for whatever reason. The kicker here is that the two kids never paid up their money. Until the disciplinarian forced them to pay Kevin instead of detention. It was the last week of 8th grade. This kid named Damien threw a carton of milk at a dean. The dean yelled, "Damien, you are expelled." He ran off and I never saw him again. What do you think happened to him? Obligatory Reddit answer. Some say to this day he is still running. This kid wanted to drop out of school but his parents won't let him. Told the principal that there was a gum in the bathroom. Airsoft. And once he and principal and vice principal arrived at the bathroom and police were called. He told them that he brought the gum into school. Pouring gasoline all over the locker room and setting it on fire. There was a super senior at my high school. Each super indicates the extra year you stay at high school. So this dude was already in his 6th year of high school. I was a freshman when I met him. I was a junior at this time I'm referencing. He brings a shuriken during lunch. He demonstrates how he was learning how to throw one. He throws it at a wall and it just bounces off and lands at a different lunch table. Fortunately, no one was harmed. Unfortunately for that dude, the people at the table got very upset and yelled loud enough to get the school security guards' attentions. Yes, we had school security guards. The next week, I hear he got expelled. I would see him again as a super senior during my senior year. The worst part is, I don't remember seeing him during graduation. A kid in my high school brought an airsoft gun in his truck on the one day of the year that my school decided to perform a modified lockdown, which is really just a different way of saying we're searching your sheet for Drew Gus. So he gets called outside to unlock his car so that the police can further analyze this obviously fake see-through plastic toy gun. And what do? Payday, fellas. We got exactly what we were looking for. Poor kid got expelled. I will never forget sitting in chemistry with the windows open at the front of the school when he drove by in his truck screaming FCK High School's name. His adopted mom was a 7th grade teacher. Doesn't really mean anything, but just an interesting bit of information. One chick in my school gave weed brownies to a teacher. Threw another kid face first into a brick wall. Kid had to go to the hospital. He made an effort to get in shape. He joined the gym workout weight training class that just happened to have a lot of the football players in it. He was constantly bullied by a few. Even though the more respectable players stepped in at time, it wouldn't stop. After 2 swirlies in 2 days, he brought a knife to school. Cue the third swirly. He pulls a knife and they stop. Expelled. Nothing happened to the bullies. He brought a bullet to class. Not a gun. Just a single bullet. I asked him about and he said that it was for a presentation in his history class. Apparently somebody saw it during lunch and the principal flipped her sheet about it. He had ADHD and did all kinds of shit. Masturbated in the bathroom. Stole keys to go up with the elevator. Constantly disrupted lessons. Insulted teachers. Spray painted the walls in and outside. Smoked weed during lunch breaks. And on top of it, almost set a teacher on fire. Truly bucked up kid. Oh wait. That was me. I went to another school where I completely changed my behavior. I'm a programmer now and everything is going well. And edit. Changed a word. Transferred out of our school to a boarding school. But he called in a gum threat right around my birthday. Got me 3 days off. Thanks Justin W. Best birthday week ever. 2 kids were fighting at lunch, so a teacher ran in and tried to stop it by tackling one of the kids to the ground. However, another kid in the audience really wanted to watch the fight. So he kicked the teacher in the face. Senior guy propositioned a freshman girl and wouldn't let it go. Allegedly also offering money in exchange for services about 2 weeks before graduation. He was already on super thin ice from similar creepy incidents throughout high school, including an incident where he explained a hypothetical plan to a teacher about putting GHB in smoothies and giving them to girls he liked. He was smart but seemed just completely intent of wasting all of his potential and being a piece of shit. Just decided to run his name through the county courthouse database where we grew up, and I count 5 felonies along the lines of burglary and grand theft along with a bunch of unlawful suspended license citations. At university, my father had a classmate who aced all his exams but failed one. When he was asked how did he manage to do that, he revealed that a civil war broke out in his home country. If he would have finished university, he would have to go back and fight. Led a revolution in music class that ended in nearly assaulting a music teacher. This was preceded by a 7-month strike where no one brought in their instruments. Instead of giving a presentation on the book that he was assigned, he climbed up on a desk and started singing Kanye West's Gold Digger until the security guard pulled him off and out. Honestly, the teacher thought it was funny at first, but after the second time through it was just annoying and disruptive. Found a gum laying on the ground on the way to school. He thought that was insanely dangerous, so he picked it up and put it in his locker so it was secure and safe. He then immediately went to a teacher to report it. He was expelled. Zero tolerance in action. This one kid had a broken zipper in his pants or something, so he was sticking his finger through it asking people to shake his hand. He asked a teacher and he got sent to the dean and got expelled. Okay, so I was sent to a private school that cost $20,000 a year. I was on low-cost scholarship there. Anyway, there were these 2 girls. One stole her mom's credit card in order to call a taxi cab to the school in the middle of the day. They snuck out and took the cab to the airport where they tried to call a friend of mine to impersonate their father. They planned on going to Florida and staying at their family's beach house down there. They were caught by the police after successfully getting the tickets because the girl's mom realized she didn't have her card and thought her identity was being stolen. One of my friends stabbed her father in the neck with a kitchen knife. That story spread to the entire school, about 500 kids, within a half hour. People were running from room to room shouting about it. I haven't seen her since. I don't know the whole story because they kept very quiet about it, but rumors were that he sexually assaulted one of the quiet girls in the bathroom. This was in grade 8. We never saw either of them again. My job is to be counselor to a classroom of that kid once they've been expelled. They come to my program and we try to help them not be that kid. If you want the honest truth, most of their behaviors have come from being born to really shitty parents. He succeeded to blow up the school's toilet room using an improvised gum made from expired fireworks. He made a very long wick laced with gunpowder as a timed gum trigger. Guy's a genius. The school admin would have not known who was responsible if not for his friend who ratted him out in exchange for extra school credits. At my high school, it was identical twin brothers that got expelled. Earlier in the year, they somehow managed to steal the janitor's master key, make a copy, and put it back before the janitor noticed. About a month before graduation, on the night before senior prank day, they broke into the school. They went into the classrooms of all the teachers they hated, there were a lot of them, opened all the windows and spilled birdseed all over the room. As a bonus, they also released a greased up baby pig in the school. When the school opened, the teachers and administrators were greeted with hundreds of pigeons flying around and a baby pig running around the hallways. I used to get to school just as it opened, so I got to witness some of the carnage. It was hilarious watching the fat dean of students trying to catch a pig as pigeons were sheeting all over the place. The twins were expelled that day and had to repeat their senior year at another school. I'm not sure how they were caught, but I heard that they were both called into the office and searched. One of them had the master key in their pocket. Before this incident, they were both model citizens. They were honest students, did a lot of charity, volunteered at all the school events, and were never in trouble. I wonder what they're up to now. punching the teacher twice in the stomach when she was pregnant. Her husband even wanted to sue him, but I don't know too many details about it. I just know because my mom was in the SAR and she let it slip one time. He also stabbed another student in the back with scissors and was suspended for 20 days prior to that. I think the school just said yeah, duck it. He's expelled. After coming back several days from his suspension and doing that,